Today on ExplorerChat, I'm speaking with Mohan Thomas, a photographer whose journey feels both familiar and inspiring. What started as a simple interest in photography has grown into a deeper exploration of wildlife, travel, and personal expression. Along the way, Mohan has developed his own voice behind the lens, shaped by real experiences and time spent in the field. Come on, let's talk to him. Thank you for making time for this conversation.
Thank you so much for calling me. I mean, I'm not a great photographer like
No, no,
you
you are, you are.
seniors like, but thank you for calling me.
No, no, it's been a pleasure to have been interacting with you. We have a long relationship. We'll explore everything that we can talk. The idea of this conversation is I want to showcase the talent of people like you and how you can have professions which are not necessary to be photography, but you can also do excellent work. Sometimes you can be as good as anybody and chase your dreams and stuff like that. So let me begin by asking you. I have known you for
Over
17, 18 years now.
Over 15 years.
Over 15 years. Toehold itself is close to 16. I know you before that. But I think what's important to remind our audience and also us is I know you from Rajan's weddings time.
Yes.
I was a 10-year-old boy, and that's our background. So, anyway, but I didn't know Mohan Thomas as Mohan Thomas back then. But let's talk about your own journey. How did somebody who is a civil engineer, or is that what you are by
I'm into construction.
construction?
I
Yeah.
build.
So you're into civil engineering, and how did the wild or nature happen to you? How did you get involved with this field?
See, much before I got into wildlife, in my college days, I used to love photography.
Right.
And those days, it was the twin lens box camera. Remember?
Correct.
Yashica,
Yashica,
with
the top-loaded camera, top view
yeah.
camera. Huh? Yeah,
The black and white films.
of course.
I started photography with that.
Right, right.
But later on in 1999,
Uh-huh.
a friend of mine, Mr. Satish, he took me to a place called BR Hills, you know very well.
Right.
It's also called Kegudi.
Right, right.
That is the place that I found myself there. Yes, this is what I want to shoot.
Wow.
And it since the last 26 years, it's a non-stop, non-stop trip to the forest.
So BR Hills in the 90s, it's amazing.
Yes.
It's even now very, very different from the rest of the prime wildlife places, but I'm sure in the 90s it must be even more basic and unexplored and all
Yes,
of that,
it
right?
was beautiful that day, and it was the time when our great Mr. Veerappan was very much active there.
How come he didn't kidnap you? Okay. So, what I think is important to know for me when I speak to people like you is did photography happen before your interest and passion for wildlife, or passion for wildlife and nature happened before photography? In your case, the answer is obvious.
Yes, I started photography first,
I see.
and wildlife came later.
Oh, interesting. And what were you photographing before wildlife?
It was just family, might be some street photographs,
Right, right,
things like that.
Right. So while I know of Mohan Thomas from 2009 and 10, it'll be wonderful to remember, our association back then. But how did you actually get into the wild beyond just BR Hills? Did you start traveling to different places? Did you
Yes.
realize that was your interest?
Yes. I made a big mistake of going only for tigers and
Oh, I see.
leopards. Like most of our Indian photographers,
Right, right.
they don't think anything other than tigers.
Big cats.
Even I did the same mistake.
I see.
It took me 12 years to see my first tiger.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow.
Okay, after BR Hills, I moved to Bandipur, Kabini, and forward. And then I joined Toehold trips.
Right.
And
of course.
I made some trips to the exotic wildlife
Yeah, I remember.
places around the world with you.
Absolutely. I remember Svalbard. Actually, you're one of the few people who has come to Svalbard twice.
Yes.
And of course, Kamchatka, my second or third year of Kamchatka, I had the fortune. I think we also did a
Trip to Brazil, Pantanal, Masai Mara.
You know what I remember very interestingly? You had met me for the first time, I think, in the workshop
Yes.
You already had a 200, 400 Nikon.
200, 400 and D3S that type.
Okay, D3S that time. And for me, wow, this is somebody who is already having a pro lens, and I'm glad that. So what's admirable, Mohan, is it's not just a spike of passion and interest. It's sustained 20, 25 years. Photography itself has grown to an extent where today I know that you also are a representative of a brand like Nikon in some ways, that you are somebody who many people look up to, and
Thankful and support for the support.
we must have played a very small role, but you have one thing I can tell you is your passion and interest in wildlife. That is the reason. Even though you started off as a photographer first, then wildlife. I think you've fallen in love with wildlife, and
Yes.
I saw that in the COVID days, the compassionate nature of Mohan used to be seen. Like you used to be, helping people even who have nothing to do with wildlife. Could be people who need stuff like medicines, like food, and all of that. So you are I know that because of the time we have spent each other, I know you're an emotional person.
Yeah.
I know the heart of Mohan Thomas. What I want people to see is a bit of that, along with seeing Mohan's way of thinking in photography and how he thinks about work and also about travel and photography. So I'm sure in the past you must have had times which are photography or otherwise difficult times, right? Like I have been through. I'm sure you must have been through.
Yeah,
And I also know some parts of what you had told me long ago of your life and how it began, all of that. So share some background of your family. I know your 3 brothers. I know a few things, but love to hear from you.
I started photography in my family early days. After almost 10 years, my youngest brother joined me. He is an Nikon brand ambassador now.
Oh, is it? In the
Yes.
US?
In Middle East.
Middle East. Okay,
Middle East.
okay.
And
You're talking about who? No? Oh, you're
Thomas
Vijayan. Vijayan. I was thinking Rajan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the brother in between, Thomas Rajan, in order to meet us and be with us, he also had to pick up a camera.
And look what he has done.
And both of them become excellent photographers
Absolutely.
and won so many awards. I'm
Absolutely.
really proud of them.
Me too. In fact, I remember Vijayan on our Kenya tour in 2011,
Yeah.
and you guys with even your son. It was a great trip. So thank you. Keep going on. Then what happened?
So then we started. Initially, we used to travel together, but because of business issues and things, we couldn't travel
Right.
much.
Also, you're in different parts of the world.
Yes, one is in US, one is in Canada, and
Right.
here.
Right.
So, but we all still love this wildlife photography and the passion for wildlife.
Absolutely. All of you are achievers of your own way. You've done amazing things. So tell me something. What encounter or what, let's say, a visit to the wilderness or seeing some exotic species, is there something that made you realize, wow, this is something I want to do for the rest of my life? Is there some incident like that?
See, the initial thing when I started in BR Hills was, I'm a big lover of elephant. I love to work on elephants.
Right.
And those days, if you remember, BR Hills, there were so many elephants.
Okay.
So many elephants coming, charging at you. And it was such a pleasure, and it was so joyful to me to watch them.
Right.
That is what ignited the wildlife photography
Sure.
for in me.
I agree. BR Hills was great. Also, the continuous forest with the other parts of Tamil Nadu and the connection.
Yes.
So,
Unfortunately, we don't see much elephant activity nowadays.
why do you think there is? What's the
I am at two, because might be the corridors are getting blocked, or might be they've found better places.
Of course. Or maybe, as one of the conservationists I spoke to, Sanjay Gubbi, he told me there are water holes everywhere now. They were not even coming to Kabini as much as they used to 20 years
Yes,
ago, right?
we hardly see elephants there.
Because he says every forest department, every range, they have started making water holes. So now man has been providing water to wildlife in different ways, like tankers, water holes, and dams,
Borewells.
and solar-powered borewells.
If you remember, our initial days, especially summer, we used to see hundreds of elephants in the backwater.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember
Hundreds.
the older Cicada Resort, which used to be now it is Serai.
Serai.
They had a board which says, in the Kabini, in summer, you will not see a single elephant. You will see 100.
Yes.
That is what was the board saying. I still remember.
It has happened to Corbett also now.
I see. Mm-hmm. In fact, Kabini was one of the man-made, initiatives of water reservoir which helped wildlife back in the days. But things have changed, as we have noticed. So tell me something. As a photographer, how do you prepare or plan, or what is your process of figuring out? Let's say you want to photograph a king cobra, or let's say you want to photograph the red panda, for instance. What is your process? Because we have not traveled together in a few years, I don't know how you have evolved. Love to know what your current state of mind is.
So my way is, instead of going for many species, I target
Specific species.
one or two. I just Google and find photos of them and just keep them, if possible, store it in your mobile phone.
Okay, as a reference.
And try to achieve them.
Right.
Because there are so many great photographers who have done all this before you.
True.
Yes. Follow them. And if you can improvise, do it.
Right. So the first step is to copy good work and then try and make
Improvise
it better over time.
Yes.
Makes sense. According to you, Mohan, since you mentioned initially you were into tigers, over the years you have realized, what was the trigger that made you feel like wildlife photography is not equal to tiger photography or leopard photography? I remember the times you were almost every week in Kabini.
Yes.
You had a lot of in fact, from even compared to me or my colleagues, you were traveling more to Kabini because it was so passionate for you. I remember your photos in the dining area and all of that. So from that mindset of somebody who's passionate about tigers to somebody who's moved on to a stage where wildlife is not only tigers, it's also a single illa with a red panda, or a spiti with a leopard, or a king cobra somewhere else. How this transition happened?
As I said, it took me 12 years to see my first tiger.
Okay.
And over the next some few years,
Right,
I've shot so many tigers.
Understood.
Then it realized to me, this is not the only subject that I should shoot.
Of course.
There are so many things. There are so many deer varieties. There are polar bears. There are brown bears. There are jaguars.
Right.
Red panda.
Sure.
And if people are noticing me, it's not only wildlife that I'm doing. I do landscape. I do astro. I do portraits, and few other genres.
So mostly nature photographer, and you also do portraits, you said.
Yes.
But these are people related to the jungles, or they are also studio
Tribals.
portraits? Or
Tribals.
Right. So anything to do with nature and natural world, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So is there any place that humbled the great Mohan Thomas and made him realize, buddy, however great you are, this is the world of nature? Is there some place which made you realize that?
You are there, always there. See, well, the moment you see Kamchatka, you are blown out.
True.
You will not realize when that helicopter took us, lifted us from this thing.
The airport.
I was just hiding my tears.
Oh, you were
Because
so...
I knew I will not see this place again.
Wow.
What a
No,
place that is.
No,
What a place that is.
I agree. 2013 we went to Kamchatka.
Yes.
And it's not changed much. What has changed is, of course, the loo, the bed,
It
the
has
toilet,
become better,
the
it
shower.
seems. Yes.
It's become better.
Oh, those days it was really bad.
Absolutely. During
And
the year-
I still remember I was the only fellow who was taking shower
every day. In fact, that year, 2013, was when they got the triangle shower in that ground floor.
Okay.
And you were running there every evening, 4 o'clock, before we go to the... I remember. Wonderful times. So Kamchatka is a place which, of course, is one of my favorites as well. What did you feel about a place like the Arctic? Have you been to Antarctica? Not yet. One of the bucket list. Yeah. But in the Arctic, what was your feeling like?
It was just too good.
You like
and I did it twice with you.
Twice with me, 14, 15 or something like that. Wonderful. So apart from that, I'm sure you must have been to many other places in India. Any place which made you put so much of physical, emotional effort and still you didn't get the result, maybe, but you realized it's not always in our hands?
See, Sundarbans. It was a dream for me to get a good tiger image there, which has never happened till now. I've seen tigers.
I see.
But
not of the standard of yours. You got record shots, but you don't have a picture you're proud of yet.
Yes.
I'm sure it'll happen if you keep going.
Hopefully.
How many times have you been there?
At least 4-5 times.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what's the favorite animal now, or is there anything like that? Is it a big cat, or is it anything that is important?
I am a big lover of leopard.
Ah, of course.
I love leopard more
Right.
than tigers.
Right, right.
I just love them.
Right, right. So I know that you had a lot of good leopard shots from Tanzania, Kenya. Where else in India you have? of course,
Rajaji, Jalana,
Raja,
Kabini.
Kabini, of course.
Yes. Even Bandipur.
Bandipur. And I also remember one of your tiger images. We'll borrow it from you for this podcast.
Yeah.
Road crossing tiger in Kaziranga in the rain.
Right.
I remember that beautiful image. I remember your lovely ground level shot of the lion in Tanzania.
Yes.
Beautiful images, lovely pictures. So let's talk a little bit about your involvement with photography and the brand Nikon.
Okay.
You are a passionate Nikon user, so you've been, using Nikon gear for God knows how many, 20 years.
I've always been with
Always
Nikon.
use Nikon.
And I'm happy with the
Very,
Nikon.
of course you are. So what is your current gear? What kind of equipment do you use?
Presently, I use a Nikon Z9 and a Z8.
I see.
400 2.8, 70-200, 24-70, 14-24, and a 105 macro.
Wonderful. So how has, if somebody wants to realize which brand should I buy if they're starting off photography, is there some advice you have for them?
I don't want to get into this topic because all cameras are good.
Right?
Each one has its own advantage.
Sure.
Like some have better autofocus, some have better color reproduction.
Right.
So
Right.
let me not get into this.
Of course. So, but talking about photography itself, do you believe a gear is as important as skill, or do you have any specific thoughts? If somebody asks, should I buy a great gear or should I improve my skills? What would your recommendation be?
See, for a newcomer, I would say, buy a basic camera and a lens.
Right. Okay.
But invariably, it will be a waste later on.
Right.
If
Right.
his passion develops.
Sure.
So once you start with it, and if most cases they lose out their interest.
Right.
So then there is no point in shelling out 15-20 lakh rupees and then realizing it.
Of course.
And if your passion builds up and you are interested, then better go for the.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense. So, talking about your own photography journey, Mohan, so when you prepare for a tour, is there a difference in the way you prepare for a tour in India? Is there a way you think about it when you go out of India? Have you seen if there is any difference in the way you prepare for the trip between the two
Yes,
areas?
definitely when you are going abroad, you have to be more careful.
Okay.
Carrying your equipments, carrying your required medicine, and the accessories. Because many places like Mara or Kamchatka, you can't go there and buy anything there. No?
Of course.
So you have to carry everything here.
Right.
But in India, most of the places, no, even if it is not, you can actually
Right.
make arrangement to get it.
But since you brought up medicine, let me take liberty of talking about a little personal thing with you. I remember a few years ago, don't know how many years ago, maybe 10, you and Arun, we had this unfortunate incident with you where early morning you're driving, I remember vaguely, was it Harohalli? You met with an accident, wee hours of the day, you were going for a birding trip.
Yeah.
I would love to hear this story from you so that it can inspire people, maybe, ask them to think. I remember even one more friend of ours, Sandeep Datta, he went through a similar thing while going to Kabini. His car rolled
Toppled.
off and fell into the lake or the dry lake. Yeah. So give us this incident, and is there anything you would love to learn from that incident?
Yes. First of all, the main mistake I did was I didn't wear a seat belt.
Seat belt,
Yes.
I see.
That was the biggest mistake. Don't ever be in a car without a seat belt. It was a very bad accident. 8 fractured ribs, and my one rib poked my lung. I had a brain injury, and I had to undergo a brain surgery.
I know.
And just before being shifted to the hospital for this thing, I collapsed. My wife thought I'm
Wow.
no more,
Okay.
because I just collapsed.
I see.
And
You
they had
remember the year?
2012.
12. Okay.
So they had to revive me in the intensive care. After a couple of days, this doctor comes and tells me, Thomas, hopefully we are going to do your surgery today.
Oh, I see.
Okay, and hope everything goes well.
Right.
There are some drawbacks going to happen. You will lose your pituitary gland, and the drawbacks are so. I'm already 54. I said, okay. But doctor, can I ask you a question? The only question I asked was, doctor, can I lift my 600 mm again? And remember those days the 600 mm was really heavy.
Exactly. Not even the FL, it was even
It
before.
was, our polar bear trips and all, I used to come back
course.
with swollen elbows.
Absolutely.
Can I lift my 600 mm?
True.
And the doctor looked at me as if
Who is this
fellow is
fellow?
mad.
Right.
So, things went.
That shows
Okay.
how important photography is in your life today.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you survived the I don't know what to call it, a test of life, and then it's been an amazing journey after that. I think most of Mohan Thomas's popularity has happened after that also, right?
Yes.
You've grown as a photographer.
My son used to come and tell me,
Huh.
Papa, because I had given up, because I thought I will not. My son used to come and tell me, Papa, don't give up. The best of Mohan Thomas is going to come from now.
Absolutely.
I promise you.
Absolutely.
And it happened.
Absolutely. And even now that's true. I think there'll be a
Yes.
lot of things that, what's interesting, Mohan, is as we grow older and older, we start becoming more mature and mature. We start learning about a lot of things. And I think every 5 years, if you look back, what we have done is not as good as what we are doing now. And I do hope it will continue for a long, long time.
Since I just now told you, many people don't know. Last year I had a very bad incident.
Right.
Coming back from Bandipur.
I see.
In the night I just collapsed.
Wow.
My mistake was I didn't go to hospital in time.
Oh, I see.
I collapsed 2 times. Then morning I went to hospital. By the time it was too late,
I see.
I had gone into a septic shock.
Wow. Okay.
And I was straight away put into ventilator. And doctors said, you can inform everybody, the chances of him coming back is very slim.
Wow. Okay.
After 4 days in ventilator, God saved me.
Wow.
That's why I'm
There
here
were
now.
few more amazing animals to have been seen in
Yes,
photograph.
all my vital organs failed.
Oh, wow.
My kidney, lungs, everything stopped. Anyhow, God is great.
God is great. I'm glad you're back in action, and
Yes.
we look forward to some more amazing things.
Thank you.
So, on that note of somebody who has been through the ups and downs, let's say a young 20-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Sir, I am a big fan of your work, and I've been following you on Instagram, and I also use Nikon or whatever, and I want your advice to see how I can make a name for myself in this field.
Okay.
Can you spare a few moments and explain what you will tell that boy, and what is your thought process about this?"
Lot of people message me on social media, or some people come and directly ask me.
Right.
My first advice to them is,
Uh-huh.
don't try to make this a career out of
Right.
wildlife photography, because there's hardly any income from this.
Correct.
It's only that you are spending what you have earned otherwise.
Right.
So don't try to just make a career out of it.
Correct.
Otherwise, you have to be a mentor,
Right.
or a resort owner,
Right.
or a tour operator.
True.
These are the only people who can survive.
Sure.
So I tell them, think if you have, or if you have enough money in the family, go ahead.
Right.
That's my advice to them.
But you tell them honestly that don't think of this as something that, the problem I have with young people who may not have the proper influencers is, they want to do something they love, and they want others to pay them for, because it's a little unrealistic, right? We pay money to somebody to do something we don't want to do.
Okay.
And we want somebody to do it for us. Let's say a carpenter, let's say somebody who is into some kind of a service. In this case, we love what we do, but we want them to pay us for loving what we do. So somewhere we have to find a service which matches their requirement.
Yes.
Like wedding photography, they are getting married, they want somebody to photograph their wedding. So it works.
Yeah.
But wildlife photography, we enjoy it, so that we want to do, but we want others to pay us. It's unrealistic. So
And unfortunately, anybody who has hardly done 3 or 4 trips to the wildlife, any park, then the fifth one is himself is a tour operator and a mentor now.
True. And over time, why? In the last 16, 17 years of this journey, I've noticed a lot of people get this excitement of doing tours, and 2, 3 months, 4 months later, they'll realize, oh boss, I started doing this for my pleasure. Here I'm going in front of the tiger. If instead of me enjoying, the guy is asking what's the ISO, what's the shutter speed, and I'm like focusing on his result, they realize this is not what I want.
Yes.
And that's why they stop doing it over time.
Yeah.
Unless teaching itself is somebody's passion. Or I know that you do a lot of workshops for Nikon, and
Yes.
I've been seeing. What do you see as a learner's trait now? Has it evolved from 15, 16 years ago to now? Apart from the technology, has the process changed? Do you think?
Definitely, a lot of youngsters are showing more interest, and the availability of money with them. They are really showing some good interest.
Right.
But I'm not sure how long this interest will stay.
Sure. That's why I wanted to know from many people whether photography comes first or wildlife photography. Wildlife comes first.
Okay.
Maybe if they start learning why they do this and they like wildlife, they have some goal, some purpose, they'll do it for a longer time, I think. I think. On that note, what has been your purpose now? Has it changed over time from the time you began to now? Let's say in our life, let's say we are in the last but 1/4 of our life, or let's say the last quarter of our life. Is there a purpose behind what you do now apart from the pleasure?
I mean, I always love to be in the wild. Whether you see something, sight something. I mean, just being there itself gives you so much of pleasure.
Right.
Okay. And regarding photography, the biggest complaint my drivers and guides make is, so they don't tell me directly, they go and tell others. We take so much of pain to spot one tiger or leopard for him, and he doesn't even pick the camera.
True.
Then I ask him, what is there to shoot? In the back of the tiger or the leopard, what will you shoot?
True. So you have moved on to choose what you shoot rather than just record shots.
Earlier days, anything, even a tail of a tiger, we will shoot.
Right. Okay, that was an amazing thought. I have a question, Mohan. So now, when it comes to somebody's purpose of getting into wildlife photography, or not even a profession, to do it seriously, is a beginner, let's say, he comes to you, what would you advise him with respect to how to improve his skills or learn? When people come to me and say, sir, I want a tip from photography, I have an answer about when should you get a tip and when should you get a lesson. But what is Mohan's thought process about learning photography?
So, as you know, we started photography in a time where there was no internet.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
There were hardly very few wildlife photographers.
True.
And their sole intent was award. And if you go and approach them for some tips, they were not willing to help you.
Of course.
Now, there are so much social media, YouTube, everything. But still, if you are really passionate about photography and you have bought a gear, instead of wasting your time on trial and error, I would advise them to do a basic workshop on photography and might be do 1 or 2 trips with the mentors who will help you.
Right.
Okay. Then learn how to edit, because editing is a vital part of photography.
True.
Learn editing.
Right.
Then only your images will show out.
Right. Absolutely. So you're saying the process of systematic learning, like for example, for us, we know why we are into photography teaching and all of that. In the world of wildlife photography enthusiasts, you've seen a lot of people. You probably talk to a lot more people than I do. Do you see a lot of people who are doing wildlife tours also helping people with technique and lessons and all? I'm sure you love to do that as an Nikon representative. Do you see a lot of people are able to do that? Because is there a difference between wildlife tourism with a camera and wildlife tourism with a learning intent with a camera? Is there a difference you're seeing in the market?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So not everybody is a person who can help you learn photography also, right?
Not everybody is interested to help you.
Right.
Not everybody is interested to teach you.
Right.
It's individual. Yes, I don't blame them.
It could be many reasons. One is not necessarily I don't want to teach. It could be capability, it could be articulation, or it could be many other reasons. But you love to share knowledge, I know.
Because I came up the hard way, I know what it meant that time.
True, true.
What it meant that time.
True. On that note, now that I'm 16 years into this business, and you have seen Toehold from the birth
Yes.
till today. Is there something you can tell me as a friendly advice for how I should look at the next 10 years of Toehold? What is it that you think people like us should do for this fraternity of photo enthusiasts, wildlife tourism? Is there some suggestion you can give?
You must get, not all newcomers are young. Because in wildlife, most of the time what happens is, they come into wildlife or photography once they're settled in life.
Of course.
That is already past 50.
Of course.
Okay? So you need more patience to teach them.
Of course.
Youngsters, they pick up faster.
Right.
The older people, elder people, they need more time for you to teach them.
And the pace of instruction
Yes.
also should be.
Once you teach them, that passion and their learning curve goes up.
Absolutely. So, what happens is when there are different age groups of people versus there is a similar age group of, we can do this much better. But it's an interesting product idea where we can focus on certain kinds of people on certain products.
Yes.
I'll think about that definitely. Anything else you can think of before we move on to some more?
Teach them how to respect wildlife and nature, not to disturb.
Right.
Okay? As I've always mentioned, your work is a tool to conservation.
True.
Make them understand that.
True.
They'll become good photographers.
Since you mentioned the important word, what do you think about Indian wildlife or even the world at large with respect to the efforts of conservation? Are we heading in the right direction, or do you think it's a battle we have lost and we are trying to revive whatever we can?
Forest department and government are trying to do their best, but hope and just sincerely hoping it works out.
Right.
We are actually losing out.
True.
We are actually losing
In many
out.
places we are, and in some places we are successful. So on that note, we have this, hundreds and hundreds of wildlife enthusiasts who love the jungle. They know, B2, this is Bamera, Driddi, this is Siddhi, and all of that. Do you think somewhere we need to channelize this passion and this love for tigers and other wildlife into some way we can contribute to conservation? Do you think it's possible? Do you think we can do something?
You can. There are so many ways. People leave it to youngsters. They will come up with some brilliant ideas. They can.
Okay.
You can do that.
How would you suggest a young mind who is now passionate about wildlife, every weekend they want to go to a Kabini or a Damankatte or a Bandipur or wherever, if they want to say, okay, now that I'm doing this, I love it, is there anything I can do to also contribute? What can they do according to you? Because you've worked with many organizations, is there some suggestion you can give what they can do?
He can organize, make a group of friends, find what is lacking in the forest or surroundings, try to provide them.
Right.
Yes, you see many times even the forest guards lack basic necessities.
Amenities and
Provide them.
Right.
Their family needs support.
Sure.
So you can actually make a group of friends and just try to help them, no?
Makes
And
sense.
if you find an injured animal,
Right.
or if you find a chance of a poaching, inform to the nearest
Right.
forest office.
Sure.
Not on the social media, to the nearest
True.
forest office.
True. So on that note, it's been so many years of you going to the jungle, right? Let's say Mohan Thomas, now a 60-year-old man, for example, was introduced to the jungle for the first time. If you had to start all over again, how would you look at it now? Is there a difference in the way you would approach it? Have you learned something that this is probably a better thing to do? How is the approach now after spending so many years?
Now I don't think I might be able to start all over again with this thing.
Right.
I will just only enjoy the forest.
Right.
Might be buy a smaller
Camera?
equipment.
No 600 f4.
No. Buy a lighter, so you can enjoy it.
Right. But with respect to enjoying also, would you do something different? Forget the age factor. If you are starting all over again, or if I take you back to your 35-year-old self, is there something else you would have done or you would like to do apart from the physical restrictions which comes with age? Anything else that you think of?
I always felt I should have started much earlier.
Wow.
I
Okay.
could have done much better.
Of course, that's true for everybody.
So, yes, there are so many things you can do.
Right.
You can do. You can explore so many things. You can be more oriented towards this thing, make some researches.
Right.
Learn about the subject.
Sure.
There are so many things. Instead of just taking a photo of a passing tiger or a leopard,
And uploading.
there are
it.
so many things you can do.
Absolutely. If somebody wants to really make a difference, they'll have to spend a little more time finding the way. But
Yes.
if they find the way, they'll realize, oh my God, I was wasting my
Yes.
time on Instagram,
Yeah.
which is just one of the places I could be, but that's not the whole world, right? That is something that we all learn.
So
over
we
time.
started in a time when there was nothing,
Right.
and later on INW came. That was the only place where we used to post, and there were a lot of, there was so much of positiveness in that.
True. Because everybody loved nature.
Yes.
And that was the reason. So that's an interesting journey. What's keeping you busy these days? What are you currently working on? Are there any areas you're focusing on? Species you're focusing on? Any wish list for you? What's happening now?
See, my target is I have never made any decent image of orangutans yet.
Oh, I see.
I want to do that. Komodo dragons.
Of course. Then Indonesia for sure. Yeah.
Yes. So then Japan is one dream destination.
Hokkaido.
Namibia I have never seen.
I see.
There are some dream destinations I want to go
Of course.
and do some work.
What about
there.
the puma?
Puma? Not from my age.
Actually, it's not like before. We can do off-road driving also. Get as close as possible.
Okay.
Maybe if you don't delay it more, it will be easier to do. Maybe you should try once.
Okay.
Because you have done Spiti, right? I saw.
I have gone.
You've done Spiti. So
Yeah.
Puma is much easier than Spiti because it's not at a altitude.
Yeah.
It's at a 300-meter height from the sea. Wish you can see that soon. I'm sure there are many other things that will become easier and easier over time. Because 20 years ago we can't imagine talking about a puma
Yes.
or a jaguar also for that matter. Now it's
We were the initial ones
yeah.
who showcased them.
yeah, exactly. I still remember we were just 4 of us in the Panthanal trip
Yes,
in
yes.
2013, I think. 13.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Saurav and
Hiraskar,
Hiraskar.
you, me, and Saurav. We are 4 of us. Amazing trip. I still remember that was the trip I got my Tuko Tukan on the tree,
Yes,
and
yes.
you were, also on the trip. We had a fun. Did we go to Iguazu? We didn't go to Iguazu, right? We just went to the south, Bonito.
Yes, Bonito.
Wonderful. So, apart from Namibia, Hokkaido, and all of these places within India, do you have some place that you would love to go and you haven't been to?
I
Is
want to explore Manas.
Manas National Park. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one
Interesting.
place I'm really interested.
Interesting.
Yes.
In fact, one of the first wildlife destinations I went outside Karnataka was Manas.
Wow.
2006.
Okay.
And the guide there says, "Aaj aapko main ek very special animal dikhaunga." I was like pretty excited. What? I said, "Rukiye." He said, he took me driving hill there, here, there. Finally stopped me and said, he showed me. It was a gaur.
Wow.
And for me, with Kabini, Bandipur and BR Hills, hundreds of gaur, for him, it was so special that, it was very few gaur in the area. And he showed me that, and I realized any animal in some places is so easy, in some places is so tough. So it was very interesting to see the
This you are
dynamic.
talking about how many years back?
2006.
Last year I was invited to a tiger reserve,
Ah,
and they requested me, can you please
ah,
take some photographs and give.
ah, ah.
And I was given armed escorts.
Wow.
And one RFO
Oh.
throughout with me, and there's no safaris there.
I see. I see.
Okay. So when I went there, artificial, so gore.
Okay.
I said, gore? We usually don't
Get
shoot.
excited.
The next second, the gore bolted like a bullet.
Right.
Then
right.
I realized even that is last year.
Okay. Wow. Which part of India is this? North?
Assam.
Assam, northeast. Looks like, that part of the country. There's some animals which are, for us in south, it's very easy, but for them,
Yeah.
it's very rare. Anyway, great. So in India, you have done tigers, leopards. I'm sure lions. I don't remember if
No, I haven't.
You have not done lions. Yeah. So no lions. But is that something of interest? But or like me, are you after seeing the African lion?
Very true. After seeing the Tanzanian lions, no.
I understand. I have done lions in the past, but I do know what you feel.
Yeah.
And what about specific birds? I'm sure you have also gone on some specific birding trails.
I have gone for hornbills, like red munia. So it's only specific, not random
25
people-
species.
No.
How about Andamans? Have you done some work there? Have you traveled to Andamans?
I
Some
have gone. It was for landscape.
landscapes. Because some of the species are endemic to Andaman, and even I have not afforded, like the Nakondam hornbill,
Nakondam.
and many such birds there. So anyway, so what about macro photography? Have we spoken about it? I don't think, right? Have you
Not yet,
done
not yet.
quite a few macro photography assignments
Yes,
or
yes,
trips?
yes.
Where do you actually do
I
that?
have gone to Munnar, Sirsi, Wayanad.
Sirsi, I see.
Sirsi is a very good place for shooting, especially pit vipers.
I see. Okay.
Wayanad, Coorg,
I see.
then Meghalaya.
I see. Okay.
These are places where you can do some
Interesting. I haven't been to Meghalaya yet. Wonderful. And when you say macro, is it frogs, snakes, or anything else?
Mainly it is frogs and snakes. Then a lot of small insects, which you can capture.
How about some destinations like Costa Rica, Colombia? Is that on the bucket list, or you think there are many
Costa
people?
Rica was definitely in my bucket list, but since seeing the behind the scenes, I've lost interest in going to Costa Rica.
You mean feeding the birds and sugar and all of that? Interesting. What about place like Colombia then? If you don't like the Costa Rican setups, what about Colombia? Have
Colombia,
you-
and
it's
I think
upcoming.
Ecuador also.
Ecuador also. Though Ecuador is very similar to Costa Rica, they have bird feeders
Oh.
everywhere, because otherwise, even Colombia, they have fruits, they have perches where they have the bananas and all of that, toucans, grapes and all of that. Otherwise, the rainforest and cloud forest, they'll be on the canopy. So it's not very easy. I'm sure Bharatpur is an interesting place for your style of
it
travel,
was,
right?
Yes, beautiful it was.
Do you go there every year or
No, because even that place is slowly
changing?
changing.
We're getting too many people, commercial. Northeast, birding place in Northeast, do you?
I haven't done much of birding.
Right. So how do you see your next 10 years of wildlife photography and travel? How do you see yourself indulging in it? What is the goal next few years, Mohan?
Go as as long as your legs and hands can support.
Right, of course.
Then my next goal is I will only keep on appreciating the youngsters' images.
Right.
I mean, till the time I am able to hold my camera,
Sure.
I'll just keep doing this.
Absolutely. I mean, when you see a few years ago, when you see Mr. Perumal
Yeah.
and what he used to do, he was never taking pictures in the last few years, but he was always there in workshops or in exhibitions, that's also a role.
Share your knowledge.
And passion and guidance and all of that. Wonderful. Anything else you'd like to add to our audience from your own perspective? Is there something that you'd like to tell? Because there'll be a lot of youngsters who will watch this. Then half an hour, 45 minutes, they watch this. If they get one piece of advice from Mohan Thomas, what would that be?
Be passionate about whatever you do. So if you are passionate about wildlife photography, be passionate.
And passionate about the subjects or about photography? What exactly you mean? Like passionate about nature, wildlife?
About your photography.
About your
Passionate about your wildlife.
I see. About everything you do.
Yes. Number two, in wildlife, what wildlife has taught you is patience. Without patience, don't ever get into this.
True.
Because I have seen people after 2 safaris they don't see anything.
Right, right.
They keep shouting at the drivers and the guides.
Absolutely. I mean, isn't that becoming too common?
It's so
Why
common.
you think that is becoming too common? What's happening to the...
It's lack of knowledge, lack of knowing what nature and wildlife is.
In fact,
I just keep telling you, do you know how many years I had to wait to see my first tiger?
Right.
You after two safaris, you are saying,
You know, an interesting thing, I used to tell my colleagues that do not take credit for sightings
Yes.
because you know you're not in control of it. right?
Definitely.
At the same time, don't be in a position where you have to apologize if sightings didn't happen because you're not in control of it.
Definitely.
So what we do sometimes is, we have had colleagues and we have had thought process where we'll celebrate sightings so much
Yeah.
that when things don't happen, we have to apologize. So yesterday also somebody commented on my photo saying we were in Corbett for 6 safaris. The guide couldn't show us the tiger is what she said.
Okay.
That itself is saying something about her, right?
Yeah.
Then she said the guide apologized for not being able to show us the tiger, but we saw the hornbill and we were happy with it. So education of how wildlife is, it's not in our control.
Never, because I'll tell you, a place like Corbett, there are few tigers, okay, the Pedwali or the Parwali. If these tigers have made a kill and it's inside, next 3 days you don't see them. Please understand that.
Right, right.
It is purely your luck.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's sheer luck.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's an amazing advice. One is we need to realize that just because you paid for a full day safari or you paid for a zone 3 permit, you are not entitled to a sighting.
No.
You are only privileged to get lucky, or if the animal shows up, it's your blessing. Otherwise, it's not your right to see it. We have to learn that. That's what people learn over time when it comes to.
Yes, because I'll tell you one incident. 2 days back, I was in a tiger reserve, one full day, and they can go early, come back late. I asked him, "What did you get?" So we did full day safari. Nothing we saw, and I saw 3 tigers walking head on. I did regular safari, so it's just luck.
True, true. Just luck. Of course, there are some basic mistakes sometimes, when there are no permits in Ranthambore, somebody takes you to zone 8, zone 9, chances will be lesser. But having said that, doesn't mean zone 3 it is guaranteed. So you have to understand there is a prediction you can do, but at the same time, it's not guaranteed.
No way.
If the tigers moved from zone 3 to zone 4 in Ranthambore, then zone 3 people will be only seeing the fort and the lake and the darter and the...
That's all. Be happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. So great, Mohan. I think thank you for spending so much time sharing your thought. I think as a 30-year-old wildlife photographer and an entrepreneur 15, 16 years ago, your contribution to my little business was immense. We may not have discussed this. You supported us with, I remember the first time you came and booked our Kenya tour, you were in our office where all 4 of you or 3 of you, your brother and your son, all of you came. That was a big ticket sale for us.
Yeah.
And you supported us with many tours over the years, and I know even tiger tours and all of that. Thank you for helping us as a company to kickstart, and we have been very lucky to get support from people like you in the past.
Thank you.
I'm sure even in the future we'll take your support in whatever ways possible, and
we need
may you be blessed with health and all the passion that you need to keep continuing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Any closing thoughts to our audience about Mohan Thomas, what's upcoming and what they should be look forward to? In fact, I forgot. I'm just looking at your beautiful calendar. You told me that it is from Iceland. All pictures are from Iceland.
No.
Oh, only the cover. Wow, lovely amboseli, right? Beautiful amboseli. I would love this image on the full screen when we start editing this video. Beautiful. What I like about some of your photos is the way it's not only a record shot, right? There's a lot of creativity. There's action. Look at the action of the tiger. I think this is Corbett, right? So what I need from you is a lot of these images for us to overlay on this video.
Okay.
I'm sure people will love to see all these pictures. And how can they buy this calendar from you?
No, I don't sell it.
You don't sell it. You just, anybody wants a calendar from the great Mohan Thomas, Should
Come
they
on.
send you?
No.
Should they send you
It's
a
all over.
DM?
It's almost April.
Next year you should sell it because I'm sure they'll buy. It's a good idea. Maybe you can use the proceeds for some good initiative.
Yes.
Yeah? Great, Mohan. Thank you so much for your time, and it's been a pleasure. I wish you all the good luck and blessings from everybody in the wildlife community, and also thank you so much for being.
Thank you so much. When I was hospitalized, a lot of people prayed for me. Thanks to everybody for their wishes and prayers.
I'm sure it'll be very, very important for you now to show them the direction as an elder,
Sure.
not just with age but also with experience, knowledge, and all of that. We look forward to many more expeditions and tours and photos of Mohan Thomas to inspire the next generation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohan. Thank you. Bye.